Yo, what up guys? Sunday, October 14th. It's been a couple of days since I've been on YouTube. The reason being is because I have some big stuff going on behind the scenes. One of those things is the release of Above Majestic, the documentary that I'm in, that I helped co-produce. It's going to be out in just a couple of weeks here, dropping on the 31st. I'm extremely excited for this to be coming out. If you haven't seen the teaser for it that I uploaded to this channel last week, I'll make a little card pop up somewhere. You can go check it out. We'll also be putting out another trailer for this movie in just a few short days here, so sit tight guys. It's going to be a great movie. Go watch it when it comes out. And also, shout out to my boy Frank of the Quite Frankly podcast. He had me on his show the other night, and the reason I love going on his podcast is because he is cool talking about whatever crazy topic comes up. That was a really fun episode to do with him. I'm going to go ahead and link his YouTube channel in the description down below there. Go subscribe to him and check out that episode. Alright, as for this video, like I said, got some catching up to do. It's been a couple of days since I've done one of these. As for the particular topics we're going to talk about here, I'm going to discuss Big Pharma. We're going to talk vaccines, especially. We're going to talk about this climate change report recently released, and I've noticed some propaganda pushes in regards to energy technologies and geoengineering in the mainstream media with that climate change report. We'll talk about that. And then we'll also discuss space. Space, NASA, good old UFOs towards the end of the video. So to begin, let's talk flu shots. It's that time of the year again, folks, and we are seeing a massive propaganda push with flu shots. I typed flu shot into Google this morning, and look what came up. Hospital system vaccinates nearly 8,000 staff in day-long flu blitz. Flu shot can alleviate symptoms and complications. Help available to assist with cost of flu shots. This is all within just the last few hours. And this is not going to stop, guys. Even Fox News getting in on the action. Pregnant women who get flu shot are less likely to be hospitalized from virus, CDC says. Yes, because when I want truthful information on vaccines, that's just the organization that I'm going to go to, the CDC. That was sarcasm, if you didn't pick up on that. In fact, flu shots, if you get them while pregnant, they are shown to immensely increase the risk of birth defects and deaths upon birth as well. Flu shots are extremely toxic, guys. And not only that, but look what happened in Minneapolis this week. A woman had to undergo arm surgery just moments after her flu shot. She got a condition known as SIRVA, which stands for shoulder injury related to vaccine administration. And she had to have surgery to get something out of her arm right after that flu shot. Probably a massive inflammatory something she had to get taken out. And point here, guys, is that vaccines do not work as they tell us. There's a lot of unlearning we have to do with a lot of subjects out there, but with vaccines especially, because they tell us they protect us, they prevent disease, they strengthen our immune system, etc., but in fact they do none of these things. Flu shots harm your immune system. They actually promote degenerative disease. They do not prevent infectious chronic disease. You're injecting heavy metals directly into your blood, mercury, aluminum. You're injecting aborted fetal tissue. You're injecting all sorts of different proteins and even nanoparticles into your body, and who knows what else is put into vaccines. So I would highly suggest, granted, I'm not a medical professional, this is not medical advice, blah, 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 but I myself would highly suggest you reject the poison outright. Not just the flu shot, which many people understand the flu shot is bogus, but any vaccine. We have propaganda push going on for the HPV vaccine. So the HPV, also known as Gardasil, made by Merck, the HPV vaccine was originally only administered to young people, to people under the age of 26. There's been a heavy push out there to have young boys and young girls take it. Now it has been expanded for people ages 27 to 45. There's this massive expansion for the HPV vaccine. Go get it. They're saying that it prevents cervical cancer and other malignancies Granted, I don't know why it's now approved for men. Can men get cervical cancer? Again, a lot of incongruencies, a lot of inconsistencies in vaccine logic. So they're trying to expand this, and what's amazing is that the HPV vaccine is one of the most dangerous out there. There are numerous examples of young boys and young girls even getting killed by this vaccine, getting maimed by it. So beware of this propaganda push. And still on the topic of vaccines, but we're going to talk about another disease here. So I'm using Washington State as an example in this news story, but I've seen it in multiple states lately. But in Washington in particular, a 6th child has been hospitalized with a mysterious illness. Health officials say that mysterious illness is called AFM, or acute flaccid myelitis. And check this out. It's a rare nervous system disorder that causes sudden limb paralysis in children. Doesn't that sound a lot like polio? Huh. Okay, let's open that can of worms here. So when I and others often try to put the truth out there about vaccines, polio is one that triggers a lot of people, and I see a lot of propaganda pushed out there about the polio vaccine, trying to get folks to go get it, love their vaccines, whatever the case is. So with the polio vaccine, point one is that many of these diseases in the mid-1900s that had vaccines come out for them, they actually declined by some 90 to 95% in the first place anyway before the vaccines were even introduced. The vaccines were then introduced and the history textbooks rewritten, the statistics all, messed with to try to make it show like it was the vaccine that caused the disease decrease, but it wasn't. It was just better nutrition and sanitation. But also, with polio specifically, when it came out, there was a redefinition of the disease. Polio was literally redefined. So when the vaccine came out, doctors just started saying that less and less people had polio. More and more people started getting meningitis. Wow. So did polio really go away? Maybe not. They might have just redefined it away. And polio actually still very much exists. Now, when looking at this mysterious rare nervous system disorder that's going around, acute flaccid myelitis, if it looks like polio, if it smells like polio, it might just be polio. And not just with this AFM disease, but what about Guillain-Barré? Huh? People get vaccines, they get these rare nervous system disorders. Polio never went away, guys. It was just redefined. And now there's all these rare nervous system disorders that stump scientists because these scientists think that polio went away, and they're just as brainwashed as many of us are. So again, there's so many inconsistencies in their logic and dots that they don't think about, that they don't bring into the picture because of their programming. So point here, guys, reject the poison, reject the vaccines, any of them. You'll do far better for yourself with just a healthy lifestyle than vaccines. And this is probably why, check this article out from CBS News here, growing number of U.S. children not vaccinated against any disease. So in 2017, 1.3% of the children born in 2015 were completely unvaccinated. That's up from 0.9% seen in an earlier similar assessment of the kids born in 2011. So last year, or basically what this is saying is that the rates of unvaccinated children jumped about 50% in just a couple of years, just a few short years. That is, well, great news. That means people are waking up. What CBS tries to say here is that this is because parents are misled. They have misperceptions about the safety and importance of vaccines. No, in fact, it looks like they're getting more educated. They're getting the correct perceptions and then completely rejecting the vaccines. So, of course, that's why we're seeing the huge propaganda push. That's why these vaccines are getting expanded and all this is going on to try to combat the fact that so many parents are waking up. Waking up across the board. Of course, we're seeing conspiracy theorists try to get ridiculed and discredited everywhere, but the vaccine is just one topic many people are waking up to. And speaking of the CDC, just one little note I want to throw in there. prosecutors aren't offering ex-CDC chief a plea deal in sex abuse case. So like I said, the CDC, that wonderful organization, always looking out for our best interests, right? Sarcasm again. The ex-CDC director is named Dr. Thomas Frieden, who stepped down earlier this year for a sex abuse case against him, is no longer getting the plea deal. Interesting. I wonder if this is actually because of sex abuse. You know, we're seeing a lot of sexual misconduct and sexual abuse cases thrown out there. I wonder if that's a cover story for something else. Interesting to see what comes out about this. All right, so before we move on into talking climate change and space, I want to make a shout out to a sponsor of this YouTube channel, Noble Gold Investments. They've made this awesome commemorative silver Trump coin. It's got Trump's face on the front and his economic accomplishments on the back. These are really cool commemorative coins. If you want to pick up one for yourself, one for your friends and family, there'll be a link in the description of this video where you can do that. Okay, so let's talk about this IPCC report. The dire warnings of the United Nations' latest climate change report, as the New Yorker says. Of course, they're trying to scare you about it. And what happened is basically the IPCC is a body of scientists, international scientists, that have been the ones making these climate change reports. And what they basically are, they're the scientists who write the carbon budgets. There's some bureaucrat scientists, in my opinion, they're probably paid off, and they fiddle with the statistics, because statistics are very easy to fiddle with to make your narrative seem more legitimate. So they fiddle with the stats, and then they put out these climate change reports. Now, there's a YouTube channel that I often watch called Suspicious Observers. If you're not familiar with it, I highly suggest you check it out. He does great work in completely discrediting this IPCC body and all of these false reports that they put out with all the fake information in them. Fake news, literally. But what I want to focus on here is the propaganda pushes we're seeing going alongside that IPCC report. Because, of course, people are always easier to control when they're scared, right? And what's more scary than to think that, oh, the ecosystems of our planet are deteriorating and we're the cause. They try to continuously blame us as the cause. Well, heck, it's very easy to scare people that way, and it's very easy to bring out your agendas with that, right? I'm just going to say right here, my personal belief, yes, I think the climate is changing, but I don't think humans are the true cause of that. I think there's many other factors in play. They don't like to tell us that, in fact, our whole solar system is electrically changing. Our sun influences weather patterns. That's a fact they often leave out of these climate change reports. Our sun is changing. So thus our Earth is changing. And not only that, but there's a lot of geoengineering programs going on that are also affecting the climate that they don't tell us about, right? We'll talk about in a minute here. But what I want to first make a note on is the renewable energy push going on with this climate change report. The New York Times right here says these funds aim to power their returns with clean energy. And not only that, but the Washington Post, our two favorite news outlets, right? Two favorite ones. They tell us so much truth. Again, more sarcasm. Sarcasm-full episode here. Washington Post says climate bill would move DC to 100% renewable energy by 2032. Okay, so on the surface level, you'll say, oh, great, alternative energy, renewable energy, we need that, so it's fantastic that this is happening. But on a deeper level, it's actually a lot of horseshit, because these renewable energies, the ones that they let into the public domain, they are, number one, horribly inefficient. All of the more efficient renewable energy sources they keep classified. Not only that, but it takes a lot of resources to mine the metals for the solar cells, to mine the metals for those giant fans, the wind energy that you see scouring the countryside. It takes a lot of resources for that nuclear power, and nuclear power is super dangerous. So all of the alternative energy that they push is stuff that's only going to make them money and not really do all that much for society here. These alternative renewable energies is just a smokescreen to hide the free energy away from the public, right? People don't even think about that oftentimes when they think of alternative or renewable energy. in these sorts of ways. What about the free energy systems that have been developed for decades and decades by many inventors that are amazingly efficient, that can produce over unity? They can actually produce more electricity than it takes to run them over unity devices. What happened to all those inventors that have invented these things? Why haven't these technologies gotten to the public? Why are they still kept classified? Right? Ask yourself these questions. So this propaganda push in terms of renewable energy is just a giant smokescreen. It always has been. What about free energy? And not only that, but the geoengineering push. So let's get on that topic. The IPCC authors, check this out, an article by The Guardian that came out just days after that IPCC report. It says, IPCC authors suggest that there is a high agreement that injection of chemicals into the stratosphere could help limit rises. They're saying that geoengineering may be used to combat global warming. So that high agreement between those scientists was basically the high amount of dollars they were paid off to say these particular things. Haha, money can sure make greedy people agree, right? So they're trying to say that geoengineering programs need to be used to combat global warming. But again, what they don't say is the fact that these geoengineering programs, these aerosols, have been sprayed over our heads in secret for decades. It's not even in secret. You can see these aerosols get sprayed over your head every single day, oftentimes. But what they don't tell you is that these have been going on for decades. And in fact, one of the reasons our localized climates are changing so much is because of these geoengineering programs. They spray over the West Coast. It makes the West Coast of America drier, hence California drought. And then when these particulates that they spray move inland in the weather tracks, it actually makes the East Coast wetter. That's why the Northeast has been getting so much damn rain. That's why these hurricanes in the Southeast are getting so much bigger and more intense. And that's why thunderstorms, lightning storms are getting more intense everywhere. It's because with all this aluminum, all these electrically conductive particles in the atmosphere makes all these lightning storms bigger, makes the West Coast drier, East Coast wetter. Wow, who would have thunk? Climate change, yeah, you could say, is human-caused, but it's not carbon-caused. It's, what the heck are they spraying in the atmosphere caused? You see? Man, the spin zone. It's so easy to spin these narratives, whether it's with vaccines, whether it's with climate change and geoengineering, whether it's with space. So easy to spin these narratives when you don't have the background information. That background information that us conspiracy theorists, me here on YouTube, is trying to provide you with. Okay, so we covered vaccines. We covered climate change. Now I want to cover space for a couple of minutes. And I'm going to show you the headlines of a few articles to paint you the picture that I want you to understand of what's going on with the mainstream propaganda of such. So first of all, mysterious deep space flashes. 19 more fast radio bursts found. These fast radio bursts that they've been finding on and off again for like 10, 15 years. All right, cool. They found more, I guess. They don't know where it's coming from. Scientists have, again, it's always scientists have no idea. It's always these things that baffle scientists. Scientists must not be that smart these days, huh? Okay, next headline. Ooh, NASA's Kepler Planet Hunting Space Telescope wakes up again. So their Kepler telescope, which has discovered almost 3,000 alien planets, interesting terminology there, alien planets to date, emerged from yet another slumber Thursday, October 11th. Okay, so they booted up a planet hunting space telescope. They're finding more fast radio bursts. And then we have some science websites even saying that every NASA mission should be looking for alien life. Wow, and all of these articles coming out, space.com, Live Science, even this article by Business Insider. Smart aliens might live within 33,000 light years of Earth. A new study explains why we haven't found them yet. All right, so I took you through all of those articles. Let's piece it together. Wow, every NASA mission should be looking for alien life. NASA's turning on a planet hunting telescope. NASA's finding more fast radio bursts. So there's a massive push for the public to start thinking about space. There's a lot of these articles being put out to seed the public consciousness. You see? Think about space. Think about aliens. Planet hunting telescopes. Wow. So you might say, wow, disclosure's coming, soft disclosure. Like they're putting these things out. But at the same time, there's always that bait and switch. They'll put out little bits of truth, try to get people curious, and then screw their minds with some BS disinformation. And this is it right here. Why we haven't found them yet. What Business Insider is trying to claim here, that SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, which is the organization that is the public smokescreen, SETI. They try to be the ones that search for extraterrestrial intelligence, but they must not be very intelligent scientists because they're completely disregarding all of the evidence that is already out there that shows that intelligent life, aliens, extraterrestrials, whatever you want to call it, is already here and has already been here for not just decades or centuries, but millennia. In fact, ancient civilizations likely had contact with extraterrestrial races. How many whistleblowers do we need to come out to say these things? How many people need to offer their testimony? How much evidence do we need of, archaeology, of just all across the board, evidence everywhere, crop circles. Crop circles are a massive piece of evidence that shows that they are here and they've been trying to give us a few messages from time and time again. So, point here being is that I am seeing this massive mis- and disinformation push being put out there, not only in the mainstream, but also in the alternative media and in the subculture. I'm seeing a lot of trolls infesting onto Twitter and Instagram even, and they'll be down in the comments of this YouTube video, I know it, trying to put out all sorts of just false narratives about ETs. They're going to say, oh, they're all demons. Oh, we haven't found ETs yet. They're not here. Oh, they don't exist. They're just... there's just so many. They'll be saying, oh, all aliens are demons. Oh, it's the new false flag. Oh, aliens don't exist yet. What are you, crazy? There's just all sorts of bad info, of just false logic being put out there about these topics, about so many different topics. Massive troll push I'm seeing lately. Not just about ETs and UFOs, but vaccines too. Every time I post a meme or something about vaccines on Twitter, there's some people in the comments, they got their animated photo, they've got an account that they just started like last month, and then here they are, pressing the establishment propaganda narratives. Go get your shots, go get your shots. It's just ridiculous. So be careful of that, guys. There's going to be a lot of discernment we're going to need as we continue pressing forward. So that's pretty much all I had to talk to you guys about in this one. Thanks for watching. Just want to make a note, go follow me on my social medias before they get censored. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'll link all those down below. And I'm also going to start using Minds a little bit more as well. I've had some people lately that have asked me to get on Minds.com, and I have. So you can go ahead and follow me there. There'll be a link in the description for that as well. I'll start reposting a lot of work on Minds.com. So that's it for this one, guys. Thank you for watching. Take care.